Content warning. This podcast, unlike most of our podcasts, is going to have some slightly sexual content. If you're not into that, skip to the next one. You have been warned. Welcome to the first ever episode of the Best Ever Mountain Goats podcast. I'm your host, kind of ringleader thing, Patrick from Washington, D.C. We are a podcast talking about the incredible but rather niche band, the Mountain Goats, fronted by John Darnielle. This is going to be our first episode. We're going to be looking at all of their albums in order, so we might start at the beginning with the cassette called Taboo VI the Homecoming. I'm going to introduce you to your various podcast members, and as always, whenever we bring in a new guest, we're going to be asking them how they were introduced to the Mountain Goats themselves. So I'm going to start with Adam. Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, I'm Adam. I'm the sole Brit on this podcast. I'm from Swansea in Wales, and I was introduced to the Mountain Goats back in around winter 2012, just after Transcendental Youth came out, and my friend Grace sent me a podcast which had 3 Mountain Goats songs on it: This Year, Dance Music, and Colour in Your Cheeks. And I didn't like it that much at first, but something about This Year stuck with me, and around Christmas time then, I got a copy of The Sunset Tree and just totally fell in love with that album and listened to probably nothing but that for about 2 months straight. And now fast forward 3 years and I'm hooked.
What about you, Emily?
I'm Emily. I'm from Florida and I live in Colorado. About 2 or 3 days after Beat the Champ came out, my friend sent me a link to Heel Turn 2. I listened to that a couple of days, and then I listened to Beat the Champ and for about a week. And then I found a playlist on YouTube just of Mountain Goat songs, and then it was all downhill from there, really.
I'm Patrick from Washington, D.C., and I got through the Mountain Goats through the Vlogbrothers, Hank and John Green. I was watching through every single one of their videos back from 2007, and in his defense, John did try to get me to listen to the Mountain Goats about 17 times before then, but I never checked him out. But eventually I got to the Evening of Awesome, which was a live show where he invited a whole bunch of guests, like Neil Gaiman and some people from the Lizzie Bennett Diaries and some musicians, and one of them was the Mountain Goats, and he played This Year, Pale Green Things, Thank You Mario, Butter Princess in Another Castle, You Were Cool, which is to this day one of my favorites, and I was hooked. Like, the moment I heard This Year, I knew that this was my favorite band I'd ever heard. It very quickly kicked out, like, Green Day and the Beatles, who were the ones who were competing for my favorite at the time, and I've never gone back since.
Nice. I think it comes to that point in every Mountain Goats fan's, history with them then, that it's just that all downhill from here moment, and I think we've all been there.
I think there was a couple-month period where I heard John Darnielle's voice more throughout my daily life than any other voice in my life.
I think you're not the only one.
Yeah.
What does that say about us? It says something, I'm not sure what.
It says that we're a cult. That's what it says.
I've heard the Mountain Goats fandom being compared to a religion, and the worst part about that is I don't think I mind.
I mean, I don't think doing this podcast is really doing us any favours in that department.
No, it's not.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I mean, we're resigned to our lot in life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm resigned to just following this stupid band for quite a while.
I'll give them money. Hey, I like this. You want me to shell out some money for you? Keep doing what you're doing. Have some more.
Exactly. So, today we're going to be looking at John Darnielle's first outing into music. Well, actually, his first outing was Congress, but that's
not Mountain Goats. We don't talk about that here.
Goats.
We're not a Congress podcast.
There's good reason. Anyway,
I wonder if there is a
about
Congress
Taboo
podcast.
VI the Homecoming.
Yes.
Taboo VI, the cassette that was released in 1991 when John Darnielle handed a cassette tape to his friend Dennis Kalachi, I think his name was.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And for him to hear, and when he saw Dennis next, he had already printed up about 12 copies of it.
Yeah, because he had a label and was like, "This is good. Let's put this out."
Mm-hmm. And
Surely, I don't think at the time he didn't expect anyone outside of a handful of friends would ever hear it or even be interested in it, and yet somehow or other, 25 years on, we're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now, we're not going to be talking about, there were a couple of songs that were added at the end of it. One or two of them we might talk about later, but we're not talking about them today. He considers Going to Alaska to be the last song on the album, so we're going to go to talk about every song up to then.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine by me.
Cool. And so we're going to start with the first one, which is Running Away with What Freud Said. And Emily,
what a
you were
title.
telling me earlier that you had something to say about this one?
I did. Okay, so you guys said that you did not like this song at all, and so I have
I never said that.
You totally said.
I
love
said
this
something
song.
along those lines.
Oh, then it was a different song. But anyways, let's pretend you did say this song, and I'm about to blow your mind. So
Oh,
yeah. So
here we go.
this song is about how John Darnielle had a real bad blackout. He was back in Portland, and so he was a mess up there. We all know about Portland, and
Scary place.
yeah. And so he didn't. When he came out of this blackout, he had no idea where he was at, what day
Wait,
it was.
do you want to talk about Portland for those who don't know about
I
Portland?
feel like they can just Google it. We're not going to address that right now.
Right, we can wait for We Shall All Be Healed to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll just wait for that
Yeah.
one. Anyways, so just know Portland was not a good place for John, and so he comes out of this blackout. He'd been blacked out for a couple days, and so when he had it in his mind that he'd been out longer than that, so he was like, I'm gonna stay in my house longer, and so he opens it. It was really bright, and he's in there for a couple more days. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna go outside. So he like cleans himself up, puts on a hat, puts on some sunglasses. He then just sits in his house. So finally he eventually goes outside, okay? And so it's warm, which it wasn't when he blacked out. There's plants in the Potter boxes downtown in Portland, which there wasn't. And like the whole world's just bustling as, you know, he's going on with trying to figure out what the heck he did as he blacked out. And so his hip was clicking, and it clicked for a good 2 years after this. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. It's the perfect song about the transition of the season from winter to spring.
I mean, it's not one of my favourite songs on the album, certainly, and certainly even less in terms of Long Run and Mountain Goats, but there's a couple of signature turns of phrases in there which really seem to stick with me, like, whose bones are these? It's just a short, simple thing, but it's quite a striking, direct moment in the song, which is otherwise really descriptive and visual.
Do we want to use the Mountain Goats bingo and we will count off whenever we see one?
Sure.
Ah, that's pretty good. So, do you have a bingo?
Because this is the first appearance of Blood. Feel the fresh blood pump inside.
One of many, 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 many appearances in the Mountain Goats chronology, no doubt.
And it's actually one of my favorites of the thing.
Yeah, it's definitely effective. Just the whole second verse is really powerful. The city's truly living. What's the difference?
I love the way that the song opens. Big city, wide corner, new flowers, cold comfort, 56 Fahrenheit early in the morning, buses passing by, black smoke in their wake. It feels like the setting of a scene in a television script. And
Absolutely.
It's very descriptive, and it puts you there. And it it really sets off the theme of how he isn't just a songwriter, he's a storyteller.
Mhm.
He just happens to put these stories to music and rhyme them.
It's very
Exactly.
visual, isn't it? Like, it's almost like a panoramic shot of this thing. It really, really sets the scene, and for that, it's the obvious opener on the album, just because of how, well,
It's like you're there
yeah,
with
how,
him discovering downtown Portland in the spring. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's also, I think, the first, as the first song of the album, is also not just that, it's the first ever instance of quite a common little device that Mountain Goats would use in a lot of early songs, where during recording, John would switch from recording using the microphone of his singing and music to recording something which was being picked up on a local radio station at the time, or from another cassette even, and that's used in a lot of future Mountain Goat songs. This is the first and certainly one of the most notable uses of it.
Yes,
I mean,
because there's a certain difference between this and the usual instance.
would you like to tell us what that difference is?
Well, the difference is that usually he doesn't talk about cunnilingus.
Analingus, I believe, was the term.
Was it? I
believe so. It's me neither, but this has just stuck with me, unfortunately.
Yes.
I feel some versions of this album online do not have that, and that is for very good reason.
Mine doesn't
yes,
have
there is
it.
a good
Mine
reason for
cuts
that.
off. The guy goes, and then it cuts off. But then if you get the version where he goes into great detail about sex,
Incredible detail.
then very incredible, it goes, and then goes into the detail. So it's there.
It's an experience to hear, and I would, if you're going to listen to the album, and if you are a Mountain Goats fan and you haven't yet already, I would encourage you to listen to it at least once, just to hear how bloody bizarre it is, and how much it will take you aback, because I was not expecting that at all, sitting in the back of a maths class, just listening to this Mountain Goats album I downloaded, fairly chilled, and all of a sudden I've got this graphic monologue, which...
That guy
About
definitely ran away with
Yeah.
what Freud said.
Of licking your bum.
Oh yeah.
Wonderful mental image there.
Oh, can we talk about what he's running away with Freud said? Because
Yes.
I really I've always wondered this, and so while doing research for this album, I looked into this, and so there's the theory of the unconscious and the theory of the traumatic neurosis. If you're familiar with Freud, and you had some good ideas, or you had said something interesting a few days ago, Patrick, as well, about addicts and lost time.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that John Darnielle said is that one of the most terrifying things is lost time, because you don't know what you did, you don't know what stupid things you did, and if you're an addict, your days are slightly more numbered than the average humans. So that lost week can be quite terrifying.
It's especially terrifying since he messed his hip up and it clicked for 2 years.
That's something John wouldn't explicitly address in many of his songs until years later, but obviously it's definitely alluded to in this song, I think.
And it's obvious that, how do I put this? He's made it very clear that he did some pretty terrible things during his time in Portland, and I'm just imagining his biggest fear being, what did I mess up this time? Who did I piss off? What friend have I pushed away? What terrible act have I done?
Obviously, this is, to an extent, speculation, but John has addressed that it is indeed about his time in Portland, so while it's not addressed as explicitly in his early songs, indeed it would take him many years until he even began to approach to write autobiographically. But this is the first reference to it, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess it is technically the first autobiographical song, even though for years he wouldn't admit it.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that, but yeah, you're right.
Did it take
So let's move to the next one. What?
Oh, I was about to say something. I'm gonna stop myself and I'm gonna wait until we actually get there. So anyways, Go on.
Next is Ice Cream Cobra Man.
What does that title mean?
I mean, he's bitten by a snake at the beginning.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. It's still such a bizarre title. There's many bizarre titles on this album, but this is probably takes the cake, takes the ice cream. But
So
yeah,
maybe
this
it's your
is.
accent, but every time I hear you say title, I think it's typo.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
I don't know what to say to
Don't make
that.
fun of Adam.
I'm not making
Thank
fun
you.
of him. I'm just making an observation. Like, ooh, like. Never
Yeah.
mind.
Damn Yanks. But
No.
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's my fault.
Anyway, yeah.
Being a stupid American.
But yeah, this is a pretty cool song. It's one of the shorter ones on the album, and it's. I don't love it, but it's one of my favourites, probably in the grand scheme of things. Top 3. It's got some really, really evocative lyrics in it. Straight away. I mean, I have a hand disfigured by snakebite is one way to open a song.
I used to think that this song was, and even yesterday I talked about how I thought it was maybe about like being high or drunk or something, because there's kind of a disassociation from his body that's going on. I'm gonna move all my vital organs to somewhere outside my body. I feel no pain as I float across your ceiling and have no shame. I'm in 1,000 rooms all at the same time, and yeah, and I have a glass. But I think it might actually be about like the sorts of pains and things that you would get from a snake bite. Snake bite, not bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, I'm not entirely sure if John has any experience of
Snake
being
biting.
bitten by a snake. Probably not, but
Although we do know that he has plenty of experience with being high.
that is true.
And I mean, okay, so people, like, you have like people who used to sell snake venom and stuff as like an antidote and stuff. So maybe it was like, I don't know, stupid theory. Anyways, it was not well thought out either. But
One thing we haven't mentioned yet, but well, all of the songs we're going to address in this talk haven't been played live very often by the Mountain Goats. However, there's one notable exception in that I believe it was 2014, they played a show at Bottom of the Hill in San Francisco where they decided to play this album through in its entirety. And if you're like me and you can't gel as well with some of the lo-fi songs by the Mountain Goats where the quality is pretty appalling, I implore you, listen to this show, listen to this damn show. It is wonderful. And this song in particular, I think, more than a lot of the other ones on this album, is really lifted by this new live performance by adding a more rounded sound with Peter Hughes' bass and John's better singing. We'll have a link to that in the description of the podcast, but yeah, listen to this song.
And of course, Peter Hughes was able to bring a lot to this album when he helped play it live.
Absolutely, yeah.
I hated this song, this album, with a couple of exceptions with a couple of songs when I first heard it. But then when I heard the live show, I really kind of fell in love with this album. So he's definitely right. You should actually hear it from that live version before you hear the actual album version.
It's going to be interesting to compare the two versions, and I think in some of the songs on this album, there's definite, well, quite big differences then between the two songs, and I think, if we're ready, the next song of the album is one of the ones which has changed the most in its one and only live performance.
What one of the best heckles of any Mountain Goats show ever was that happened around here?
oh, play Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Golden Boy.
No.
Oh.
Going to Georgia!
Yeah, play Golden Boy.
Because remember what we were talking about for the last track? The something that he added after the fact?
Yep.
Remember that there was the one audience member who shouted, "What about the analingus?"
Oh.
And then John was like,
No other
"What
band in
about
the
it
world.
indeed? What about it indeed?"
What about it indeed? I can't think of any other band in the world who would have What About the Analingus shouted at them in a concert, and the next song on the album is...
It's
wow.
Move.
Well,
It's a
let's
song.
move along
It's
to the
Move.
next song.
Oh,
Hey.
you.
Cheeky. Now, I'm going to introduce this song by telling you what John said about it at the one and only live performance of it. He said, "This is a song that's easy to sing. It's one of 2 on the set list I'm pretty sure have never been played live, because the world wasn't ready for the deep truths I was spitting back then."
He's so true.
And
Because the song is so deep.
he's very true.
And and it follows the format on this album, and it's so repetitive in nature. And unlike the rest of the songs, it's very, except for Going to Alaska, it's very tongue in cheek. And the grotesque piano playing makes it, and it has
Grotesque? Are you serious?
Look-
I think he's as good as Chopin, or
Bach.
Billy Joel,
Bach.
or like Rhapsody in Blue. Like,
It's ahead of its time, I tell you
It
now.
is
I bet you
very
in
ahead
about
of its
5
time.
years.
I really do think that we were not ready for this, and we were not ready for Don't Take the Dogs Away, but that's a different conversation. But it's,
I might agree with you about that
Yeah.
other one.
yeah, but I also think the song has a deeper meaning, and
Okay.
if you leave, you're gonna get athlete's foot. You leave me, you're gonna walk so far away from me, your feet are just gonna be absolutely horrible. Also, it features his mother, because he was trying to shoo her away. She's playing this song. She comes in. He's trying to hey, you need to leave. So she picks up this toy pig and starts bashing it. So there's this squeaky pig in the interlude.
Incredible.
They're all laughing.
Actually incredible.
It is. It's just the best song.
That would have been interesting to be in the room at the same time as that,
They're
I
all
think.
laughing.
Well, it does tell you a bit about his mom. Like, she must be the sassiest person you'll ever meet.
Ha!
I know.
One thing I find quite interesting, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to take a guess and say that this is the Mountain Goat song with the least amount of words, or different words in it.
Yeah.
I count 9 words.
Mm-hmm.
9 words. If you leave, you're gonna get athlete's foot.
No.
And when?
There's ooh and ooh.
Of course. My mistake.
And there's some laughing. Do those count as words? Can we count those?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Oh.
Probably not, but
I'll be completely honest. This is the only Mountain Goat song that I actively dislike. I hate this song. Although
You don't know true
I
art.
probably wouldn't complain if he played it live because of just how funny it is.
it would be an
I hate
experience
this
to hear this live. I don't think we're ever going to hear this again in our
I
lifetime,
wish
because
he would.
it's such an incredible tune. I wish I would as well. But I mean, it's only been played once for a reason. The world can't take it. To play it more than
Well,
once,
that's
it would be...
because people like Adam who go, I hate this song. I don't know true art. I don't know what this piece is in front of me. And then you have...
I think Adam likes it more
Oh,
than,
no, Adam,
than
Patrick.
I do.
I like
so
it a
why aren't-
lot. Oh, sorry.
Patrick,
Yes.
I'm talking about you, Patrick.
That's what I was
Looking at
thinking.
you over here.
Adam likes this song. He knows what he's talking about.
We're not going to get athlete's foot, Emily.
I know. We're gonna have to write John Darnielle every day. Go, excuse me, can you play this when you come to so-and-so?
I would be very interested to see his reaction upon requesting this at a concert. I think we'd get an amusing story out of it, even if we didn't get the song
Yeah.
itself.
Sound like
Instead
the
of...
people who call for Golden Boy
No,
even though
we
they
would-
know he's not.
we would shout for a move instead of Golden Boy. We'd be those people.
Yeah.
I mean,
You could say, however, do you think anyone's requested it ever at a show? I think it would be novel.
Yeah.
You could say it would be a magic moment.
Bravo! Let's move to the next one. Although, first I want to mention, the easiest way to piss off John Darnielle is to at a show shout, and I quote, "Golden Boy mosquito repellent, you're in Maya." Boom.
Yeah.
Those three together.
People literally hate you because those are the 3 songs.
Oh
that
yeah,
he
and then you
refuses
gotta
to play.
record his
Oh, and
reaction.
song from my stepfather.
You have to record his reaction, and then you just ticked him off.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that, people.
We love this man, but we hate this man. John, if you're listening to this, the actions of the others are not at all anything like my actions,
I
please
didn't say to
forgive
actually
me.
do it. I'm just saying it would be the fastest
I've
way to
yet
piss
to
him off.
go
I would
to a
never do
show.
this.
We know what you were thinking, Patrick. We know.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
this when I go to my next Mountain Coats show. I'm gonna talk about it at the podcast. I'll be that guy. I can brag
You'll be
about
that guy.
I'd never be that guy. I'd never be that guy.
Don't lie.
Although I do stay up late thinking about if I ever got to the request point, what one song would I shout? That keeps me up at night.
Does it keep you up at night?
Well-
That sounds like a real problem. I know the song I
think-
shout.
Is it Move?
It is Move. Or Don't Take the Dogs Away.
Don't Take the Dogs Away, we'll come to that soon,
Yeah.
but the next track of the album is quite important, I would say,
It
since
is.
it's the first ever recorded Mountain Goats cover.
It is.
And there's a lot of future songs that should be covered, but this is the first one. This is here in the album, so we're going to talk about it. This song is called This Magic Moment, and it's a cover of The Drifters.
Just so that you guys know, every time we encounter a song that the Mountain Goats are covering by another band, we are going to each say which we prefer. Do we prefer the original or do we prefer the Mountain Goats version?
I'm going to begin that then and answer your question for you, and, well, it's not so much an answer rather than an apology in that I still haven't properly listened to the Drifters version, so I can't fully answer that question. However, I'm going to err on the side of caution and say I prefer the Drifters version. Not that I don't like the Mountain Goats' interpretation of the song. Live, it's wonderful. The live performance of it is a highlight of the album, certainly. But on the recording, it's just so distorted. The lo-fi-ness really, really hurts, in my opinion.
Aww.
Which is a shame, because it's one of John's best vocal performances of the time, without a doubt. But, yeah, like so many other songs in Taboo, it's kind of hurt by the awful sound quality. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
What about you, Emily?
I like them both equally for different reasons. I like the lo-fi distorting sound of Taboo, but I like the Drifters because it's the Drifters. But I like John Darnielle's version because it's so full of raw energy. So you know that great things are gonna come from that young man. So
Yeah. I'm going to even this out and say that I do prefer the Mountain Goats version. Like, the Drifters version, it's smooth, it's cool, it's great, it would be great for a romantic evening kind of thing, or just dancing, but, like, there's just an energy that John Darnielle brings to it, a hunger. You know that this moment is unique, it is magic.
You took what I was gonna say.
And it's just, I just love the way that he sings it, both in the crappy original version and in the live performance.
It is definitely one of his best vocal performances at the time, and even the live performance, he sounds fantastic on it. I will agree. It's a shame he doesn't play it live more often, really. Although I think he has played it live quite recently. He played it earlier this year, actually, I think, in a gig in Tallahassee, of all places. Yeah. Which, that would have been quite a sight to see.
Dang, did he play Tallahassee in Tallahassee? He better play Tallahassee every time he goes to Tallahassee.
He didn't play Tallahassee, according to this.
Yeah. All I know is I will not feel like my life has been worth it if I never go to a Bottom of the Hill live performance.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all of those are amazing.
I know, I love those.
One day I will fly to San Francisco just for this. But yeah, shall we move on to the next track?
We should.
A favourite of mine, actually. Is probably not my favourite on here, but I'm going to tentatively place it at number 2. This song is called Don't Take the Dogs Away.
Now this one, I file this along with like Baboon in those, that group of songs that they're not explicitly about the alpha couple, but there are no other two sorry bastards that this song could be about. So I consider it part of their epic.
Oh, well, especially there's lines in the song that just go with it. I'm pulling up the lyrics, but you're just like, seriously? And it's don't take the dogs away. You do this every time. I mean, who takes the...
Implying that every time they've had a tantrum, the dogs have gone. Shocking.
And it's... Why would you take the dogs away?
I think he's talking about they're leaving the house. They're leaving you after an argument, and he's saying, "Don't take the dogs with you. I want the dogs."
It's the one thing he's clinging to. I think it was one of the first songs of this album I heard long before I'd listened to it as an album. I think, and I just remember really having this fondness for the song. Sorry?
He's only ever played it at the bottom of the hill.
Oh. That's a shame. I think it's a great song.
It is a
It's
good
certainly
song.
one of the best of his early ones.
It is.
And, yeah, it's definitely one of my favourite early Mountain Goat songs, and there's a part of it which I'd like to draw attention to where he sings, just look around the house we're in, and it's one of the first times where the Mountain Goats, John Darnielle, have used the house as a metaphor, and there's a Tumblr post about this somewhere. I'll find the link and I'll post that when it's ready, where it's discussing that that's a common metaphor used in many future Mountain Goat songs. This is the first instance of it, where the house, as opposed to a home, is a metaphor for a failing relationship. And there's a number of songs, mainly featuring the alpha couple, really, or other dysfunctional couples, where it's featured prominently. And we'll come to them as we progress through their discography, but it's interesting to note that this is the first instance of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Pause. You're live on air.
No, yeah, but there's a lot of songs that talk about house instead of home, and
It's quite a powerful metaphor. I mean, yeah.
Because a home is comfortable, and a house like that.
It's empty.
Yeah.
It's empty, just like the relationships in the songs that it describes.
Exactly.
There's one of my favourite instances of this metaphor is in an unreleased track, which we'll come to around the time where that's released. I'm not going to spoil anything too much now, but there's one particular usage of this metaphor which I'm looking forward to coming back to later.
I think
we'll edit this out, but that song is Poltergeist.
It's such a great metaphor. I like after that line, it's what should I say to you? Where do you want me to begin? Don't take the dogs away.
Excellent.
It is.
It's desperation. That's the only thing he's clinging to.
Is these dogs?
Where do you want me to begin? All I'm saying is let me keep the dogs. Yeah. Goddammit.
And the thing about this song, as opposed to the other super repetitive song that I hate, which we will not speak of, is that this uses the repetitiveness to its advantage. This is a common argument. They've had this argument multiple times. She takes the dogs every time. You do this every time, I swear.
You do this every time I've learned. You do this every time I've learned. And I want to say, this is the predecessor to Who Let the Dogs Out. Who don't take the dogs away.
Who did leave the dogs out? It was the alpha couple. God damn it.
The alpha girl. We should give names to the alpha couple, to the man and the woman, so we can just call them by that throughout the thing.
Nah, I like the ambiguity myself. I really like that ambiguity. However, one live performance of the song The Sign, which we'll come to at some point, John Darnielle likened the alpha couple as being himself and the song The Sign, which I feel...
Oh yeah, and
I think of that. I think of that a lot.
So do we call the alpha girl, what, Jenny, and the alpha guy, John?
No, it'd be The Sign and John.
Nah, let's not do that. It's going to be too complicated.
So the alpha girl and the alpha guy?
Yeah.
That works.
The alpha girl stole the dogs.
I could see it.
Well, I mean, it's gender neutral here. I feel one good thing about a lot of the alpha songs, you can't tell what party is addressing who. So it may well be the alpha guy taking the dogs away from the alpha girl.
Yeah. No Children is an exception for that, where you kind of can tell the genders of who's talking.
Yeah, there's a couple of songs where the gender is explicitly revealed, but for the most part, they're nicely ambiguous, and I kind of like that a lot. However, one last thing to note about this song that I especially like is at the bottom of the hill gig we mentioned, John introduced it by saying that this song expresses a certain universal human feeling. I'm puzzled to this day as to why it wasn't an international top 10 hit, making me and Dennis Clarke tycoons.
Oh, but it was. That's just after the guys who made Who Let the Dogs Out stole it from
Exactly. They took the idea and they ran away with it.
Don't take the dogs away.
Don't take my song away.
Let's do a prequel.
You do this every time.
Let's do a prequel.
Don't take the song away. Don't take the song away from me.
There you are. In the song, we got it all wrong.
Swear.
It's not the alpha couple. It's not the alpha couple, guys. It's John singing this to the Baha Men.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
However, even if this song isn't about the alpha couple,
It's about the
we
Baha
can certainly
Men.
say it's about the Baha Men. The next song of the album, however, most definitely
the
is.
alpha couple. The next one certainly
It
is.
is. Can we still read?
Yeah, this is the first alpha song, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's in contention between three of them as the first Mountain Goat song. And,
Yeah.
while it's not my favorite of the three, I think that this is the first because of the way it's written.
I'd go along with that. Why do you think that, though? What's your argument?
Well, for one, he said that the Mountain Goats arose from these poems he wrote called A One Winter at Point Alpha Primitive. No, Songs for Point Alpha Primitive, I think. And
Yeah, that's
just
right.
the way it's written. It's the one that looks most like a poem and the least like a song between Pie Man This and Going to Georgia. I mean, going
to Alaska.
Going to Alaska.
I made the same mistake last
You
time.
did.
It's because I
You
play
do
Going
this
to Georgia
every
night
time,
before I go to
I
bed.
swear.
Nice. Although take out the hey, and
It's a
it
poem.
seems just like a poem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fairly juvenile was the word I was going to say. It's not juvenile, but I mean, it's got that distinctive A rhyme scheme throughout it all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about this song is, as a alpha song, you can feel the dysfunction in this song, and again, it's a house, and their life is going to hell, and their clothes are ruined, and all of the bad things are slowly coming together for them. And you have this line, and it says, is there something eating you? Will it leave a trace? Will it take your pretty features and lay them to waste? And so
That's such a great
it
line.
really is.
Mhm.
And so they're starting their move down this dysfunctional road that they're never gonna come back from. So
Oh,
I
no.
think this is actually
no.
at the beginning of that fall.
yeah,
And this was one of the few chances when they had a chance, because you can kind of get the sense that things are going to shit, but they've got each other to
they still kind of
be there
care
for
about
each
each
other
other
still.
at this point, as opposed to later albums. which I'm
It's
not gonna
reliance.
say. And
And that's
Yeah.
one of the saddest points about it. There was a time when they could have saved it.
exactly.
Yeah, they're just so mutually self-destructive that even if they could change, they're not going to.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a great little song. It's the shortest song of the album by far, and one of the shortest Mountain Goat songs, full stop, I think. But yeah, it's pretty good. And he said himself that it started off as a poem, and it was one of the first he transformed into a song. So for what it is, it's a pretty good tune. And the live version of it's on point.
It is. And
I think now we should move on to what John Darnielle said was the high point of every Mountain Goat show in the very early days, and is one of Peter Hughes' favorite songs. And we should all agree with Peter Hughes
We
because
should.
he has excellent taste in Mountain Goat songs.
and he really likes
Absolutely.
the things mentioned in the song, as we've come to learn.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's,
Solomon Revisited, aka I've Got a Radio.
Have you got a radio?
What it lacks in subtlety, it makes up for in radio. Have we got a radio?
I've got a radio as well.
I've got a radio.
I've got a radio too.
I don't have a radio.
Oh dang it!
I don't have a radio.
You could write a
Yes,
song.
you do. You do have a
Yes, I
radio.
do.
You have a phone. You have a radio.
Oh my god,
I have a radio.
my background is the same.
Wait, seriously?
Yes!
Woo!
We both have the exact same wallpaper for our phones.
That is so funny.
This is an event. I unfortunately do not, but I couldn't show it to you,
This
even if I
is
could.
the wallpaper after you open it.
Oh, mine's still.
I had that as my wallpaper for a very, very long time.
Oh, mine
It's
is.
Taboo VI the Homecoming.
Mine's still the tour.
Ah, nice.
I'm boring.
Yeah.
It used to be
Anyway.
Bob Dylan for a long time, but anyways.
Oh, nice. Anyway, back on track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were having
Solomon
a moment.
Revisited,
I'm
it's-
sorry.
It's quite alright.
It's quite alright. Important moment. No.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool song, and this is the way that the Mountain Goats would close all of their shows back in the day, I believe. But yeah, it's all right. I'm not the world's biggest fan of this song. I'd love to hear it live. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. What do y'all think of it? It's cool.
I do like this song. I think it is built to be played live with an audience,
And
that's
Peter
better
Yes,
than the version
definitely.
of the album.
Mm.
But it's not my favorite of the end of show songs. I'd much rather him play The Sign, Best Ever Death Metal Band, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like.
Hearing this back in the day must have been an event.
Yeah.
It was.
I like this song, and I like this song because, like a lot of Mountain Goat songs, it's as that theme of escapism. You said you'd stop by, you'd let me have a look at you. I've got a radio. You brought me some photographs. I don't care to see them. I've got a radio. This place gets
That's all he
sometimes.
needs.
I got a radio.
There's quite a lot of Mountain Goat songs which will have similar themes. We're not going to touch on them now. We'll wait till we come along with the chronology. But there's one in particular I bet you're all thinking of that certainly
how
stands
this
out.
radio is not just escape; it's his survival
It
mechanism.
And
We'll certainly revisit Solomon when it comes to that.
yeah, and this is the start of that theme, and it just goes down.
Foreshadowing. Ooh.
But it's a nice song, and I think it gives a bit of insight into the inner workings of John, because
Yeah. For the longest time, I think until about 3 days ago, there was a line in this song I'd hilariously misheard. The line says, "You see, these rocks are treacherous, but how long has it been since you've seen my feet?" Which is a pretty bizarre line anyway. But I'd always misheard that as, "You say these frogs are treacherous."
Them frogs, you gotta keep an eye on them.
It's okay. I got a
Damn
radio.
treacherous frogs. Oh, there you are. You're fine. You're fine.
My house every year gets swarmed in these tiny green frogs, and it's awesome.
Is it
Really?
awesome? Well, it's awesome because you've got a radio. So forget those frogs.
Yeah. If you didn't have a radio, well,
Yeah,
you'd be screwed.
you'd have an issue on your hands. Because isn't that
No, we like the frogs. They're cute.
Oh.
But you got a radio, so regardless,
yeah,
you're fine.
You're good.
They don't go like in our house. They just sit on the walls outside of our house.
They might be like
That's
Cuban
bizarre.
frogs, and they're an invasive species. And in Florida, you're supposed to kill them.
Oh.
No, they're from here.
Oh, are they?
They're cool.
In Florida, do they have radios?
It depends on.
I don't know that.
It depends on what part of Florida you go to. Some parts of Florida you do, but if you head out into the Everglades and you forget your radio, you better hope that nobody sees you. Just hope you see nothing else.
Incredible.
Shoot you on sight.
Yeah.
Or the animals.
Do
will
you
kill
have a
Yeah, the
radio?
animals can kill you, and they'll do so in
Like
silence.
from Alaska.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Florida and Alaska
That
have a
leads
lot
us
in common.
They're on opposite sides of the country, but the animals can kill you.
Yeah, and
But they do so in silence, as if no one hears them, it really won't matter.
exactly.
Which is a perfect segue into the final song
Golden
of the
Boy?
album, the best song of the album, Going to Alaska. And of course,
What
for
a
the
song.
bingo, this is the first Going to song.
Yeah.
I think we've got
Yep.
narrator experiences profound loneliness.
detailed description of a landscape, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Survival is
this
there.
is
Survival is definitely there.
Yeah. This is a
And it
wonderful
does lack
song.
a
This is
chorus.
such a good song. This is the best song on this album for me, without any shadow of a doubt.
Nope, I totally agreed. It's the best song off the
Oh,
album.
and it's a detailed landscape. He details the landscape as well, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam already
Yeah,
said
this
that.
song, it's... Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it's the first in the series of Going To songs, as you noted. And, obviously, this was a trend which would continue on throughout all the releases. I think it's just the next cassette tape he put out, which we'll talk about next time, that has, I think, 3, possibly 4 Going To songs on it. But this was the original one, which started it all off.
And speaking about that tape, it's interesting because Emily said yesterday that that he really only considers the next song as the first true Mountain Goat song because of the huge shift in tone and style that went between Taboo 6 and the next one.
No, it was
Yeah.
supposed to be Solomon Revised was intended to be the final song, and Dennis he stuck the this song and the next 2 songs on this tape on there because he liked them so much.
Yeah.
But John played this at that live
Yeah.
show, so he kind of considers it part of the album.
Mm-hmm.
But what you were saying was that he didn't consider like this tape to be the Mountain Goats because there was such a huge shift between this and the next one.
Yeah.
No, you said.
And I think
you
that's
said
too...
that. I said.
I would argue that Going
yeah.
to Alaska is the one song on this tape that would fit along with the rest of the catalog. That would be more along the lines of actual later on Mountain Goats. Like he could play it, he could put it on Sweden, and it would have fit perfectly.
I don't think it would have fit on Sweden, maybe a earlier album, but my argument was that this was you always have to have a jumping off point for whatever you're doing, be it music, art, learning a language. You have to have that point, and for him, this was that album. Even if he renounces it, it's still his first album, and so his next album is better because he knows what he did wrong, so he improved on that. So
He had time to refine his craft.
exactly. So this is his first album.
And it was the first one, I guess, he made with an audience in mind, because this one he was just making for him and maybe a couple friends.
Yeah, this was just to mess around with. But the next one, because it got spread around and people liked it, it's like, okay, let me do something with this, and yeah.
One definite thing to note, though, even though he may renounce this album, though he may disown a lot of the songs from the Mountain Goats progression, this is one song which deserves to be recognised as a Mountain Goats classic, in my opinion. It's such a good song. It's also the one which bears the most resemblance to the style he'd later adopt. It's so descriptive. The descriptions of the song are incredible. Like we mentioned, there's so many vivid descriptions of landscapes in it. It's really brilliant. There's so many lines of this which stick with me. I mean, their limbs are more like wires, now they are cables, sticking alive with alien electricity. The heat is a great paintbrush, lending colour to our lives. And it just builds and builds as it goes along. It gets more and more intense. And the ending couple of lines, I think that'd be cool to talk about.
I'm going to
I still
Alaska,
think that
where the animals can kill you, but they do so in silence, as though if no one hears them. And no one
I still think that this song is slightly suicidal. Because he's saying like the reason he wants to go to Alaska is like the air can suck, it sucks the sound out of the air. The animals could kill you. There's alien electricity. If aliens kill you, no one would know. They tell me that it's perfect for my purposes. He has a death wish, and so he's gonna go to Alaska.
The Going To series started out as you have people who always say, oh, I'm gonna move to so and so, and then they'd get there and they were still unhappy, and this that was how it was. And so it started out as kind of making fun of those people, and if you go to Alaska, you better not like people, because you're not going to see a whole lot of people. So there's that's what a lot of the lines are. It's perfect for my purposes. You're going to live in solitude. You're not going to see a lot of sun. You're not going to, see a lot of people. You're not going to live in a big city.
I
It's called-
guess
Yeah.
them saying it's perfect for your purposes is kind of a burn, because like imagine this recluse talking to his friends and being like, "Oh yeah, I'm moving to Alaska," and then they're like, "Oh, it'll be perfect for your purposes."
Huh.
It would make
Yeah,
it-
I'm kind of gonna go along with that interpretation. Really, I mean, slightly different because the whole idea that line where he says that the animals can kill you, but they do so in silence, as though if no one hears them, it really won't matter. You can be as loud or as quiet as you like, and it doesn't matter. No one's going to hear you anyway. No one's going to care. And that, to me, gives this idea that the narrator who is going to Alaska is reclusive, almost, and just wants to get away from things, just wants to go to this place where he's not going to be bothered by anything and can just shut everyone out without fear of judgment or anything. That's my take on it, anyway.
So, do you think we're done with the song, or is there anything else someone wants to say? Because it is a good song. We could probably talk about it for a very long time.
I think I'm.
Well,
Oh.
I'm pretty good. The only thing I'm gonna end this on then is say that it's also by far, I think, the song on the album which has been played live the most times, and certainly the most times recently. It's the only song from Taboo VI which has become not a mainstay then, but one that
He's
isn't
actually been playing it
out-of-order
more
here.
often recently, even.
Yeah.
He's played it more in
Totally.
the last 10 years than in the first 10 years.
Yeah. Actually, one of the last times on the last tour I saw the Mountain Goats, he played it a day after the last time I saw him in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Oh, that must have
And
been
I'm-
tough. That must have been rough.
Oh yes, I mean, I got lucky with the song. I was very happy with what I heard, but hearing going to Alaska, man, that would have been amazing. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
So at the end of every episode, we're going to have everyone rate the album out of an arbitrary number of arbitrary things. So we're going to be doing 69 radios. So we're going to be rating out of 69 radios.
And at this point, we'll also offer our favourite track from the album and say a
Yes.
little bit about it again.
Thank
Okay,
you, Adam. Yes.
No problem. Emily, would you like to start?
I would like to start. Okay, so I would rate this album probably 40 radios, and my favorite track would be. I'm gonna have to go with Move on this one with a full 69 radios.
Whatever rating does it deserve? I mean, if any Mountain Goat song deserves that rating of 69 radios, then
It's
I
Move.
can't think of another one.
It's Move followed
It's Move.
by Don't Take the Dogs Away, which would get 68 radios. And then
That's fair.
Solomon Revised, that would get 67 radios.
Okay.
So what about you, Adam?
Okay, I'm going to say I'd probably give this album a rating. I think Emily had it about right. I'm going to go for 42 radios. It's not one of my favourite ones, but there's enough bright patches. There's no Mountain Goats album I dislike, but yeah. And my favourite song of the album, unquestionably, is Going to Alaska. I love that damn song. However, I'm going to give honourable mention to Move, simply because there is no other song like it, nor can there ever be another song like it.
It's so beautiful.
What about you, Patrick?
I'm going to give it about 40... Yeah, you guys are about right. I'm going to give it about 45 out of 69 radios, with my
Okay.
favorite song being Going to Alaska, although Running Away with What Freud Said is so close in second, it's not even funny.
That is a really good.
The live version, though, the album version is kind of eh. The live version is really good. Peter Hughes, and the drumming
His bass,
really does help that song, because it
Yeah,
brings it the energy.
the bass in that
kick.
song really
Oh,
shines.
okay. So, which do you prefer, the live version or the album version?
I'm, as you probably guess, I'm unquestionably going to say it's the live version, because I think one or two songs on the album version kind of, not benefit them, but the grungy, lo-fi sound kind of suits them, like Don't Take the Dogs Away and Going to Alaska. However, the live version is just, well, it's just great. It's listenable. No offense, but yeah, in its live form, it's truly great. And so many songs which I wouldn't give a rat's ass about otherwise are lifted. What about y'all?
I'll definitely go with the live version. I like his lo-fi stuff. I love Sweden, and I feel like the Panasonic radio's hum is what makes All Hail West Texas so good. It would not be
Yeah.
as good without that lo-fi sound. But no, this is
True.
it's unlistenable. And I will never say no to Peter Hughes updating an old song.
That's fair. What about you, Emily?
I'm gonna have to go with the album version because
Oh.
there's some songs that are done live. As much as I like a lot of the live songs, I feel they just don't do it justice.
I think there's one song in particular you're thinking of, isn't there?
It is Don't Take the Dogs Away. That just got ruined.
Oh.
And
My guess was going to say you were going to say Move because of that incredible
no,
avant-garde piano interlude.
I don't.
The Pig.
Well, yeah.
I also thought you might have been talking about Running Away with what Freud said, because in no Mountain Goat show will you hear him talking about 69ing.
Yeah,
that's probably a good thing.
Yes,
thank
goodness.
And as much as I enjoy the narration for future use, the album version, it just has this quality, and I really enjoy that quality. And I enjoyed the squeaky pig, and I enjoy like the laughter in the background. You can hear people talking, and
it's a unique atmosphere that you won't get from any other Mountain Goat show live or recordings. Yeah.
But there's just some songs that were kind of ruined, and I really like Peter Hughes and stuff like that. But like some of the songs just got absolutely ruined. It's like, oh man, please stop.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, I think it's about time to talk about news.
Hey.
So last time when I messed up our recording, we were all like, hey, we need to tweet the liner notes, which are, is it possible for animals to be reborn as deities? So we tweet...
Deities.
Well.
Deities.
Anyways.
Well, is it?
Well, so we all were like, oh yeah, silly tweet, John Darnielle. So I tweeted him, and we got a response back, and that response was, it was thrown on there by the label, and he had nothing to do with it, and so he has no idea what it means. He had nothing to do with it or anything.
That's disappointing in a way.
It is.
Unfortunately.
I was so sad to hear.
It's a good phrase. It's good. It sounds very John Darnielle-esque.
Mm-hmm.
It does, but does it have any connotations to the rest of the album? I don't think it does.
Yeah.
None.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Don't Let the Dogs Away.
Yeah.
Or Going to Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But my favorite part of this tweet was the fact that it took not even five minutes for him to get back to us.
Yeah, he
was very nonchalant about it. He's like, I don't know.
And
they put it on the thing.
Yeah, the fact that he.
Why do you expect me to have an answer to this?
And,
it's not like it's my album.
I didn't record any of this. And yeah, and he just remembered it off the top of his head, and the liner notes that he didn't even put in. So I thought that was really cool.
He knew exactly what you were talking about.
So
Yeah,
so that was
he picked
great.
up on that reference.
So that was
Well, it seems that he liked the phrase too, because it's stuck in his brain, and as he said, there are many things you can trust me with, but you can't trust an addict for memory.
Yeah. Although there's a line, it's in a it might be a live, it's a live version of a song, and he says, this is thanks to the higher education I can remember something in 20 minutes that you'll forget in 10. It's a nice jabby line from John Darnielle.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think the only other big Mountain Goats news at the moment is that it hasn't been long since the tour dates have been announced, right? The next set of tour dates.
And I'm going to see him in Baltimore on September 18th. Yes! Woo! My first ever Mountain Goat show. Woo!
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I'm jealous because I live in the UK and that is not anywhere near where they're touring at the moment. Unfortunately,
well,
but you were gonna love it.
You've seen 2 shows, so I still need to get 1 more
3
for
shows.
us to be even.
Yeah. I'm trying
3
to
shows,
go
sorry.
to Kansas City. And I'm
Nice.
saving up right now. So.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so jealous of you guys. Just saying.
You should be.
You should.
You should join us. Come, a whole bunch of the people from the shipposting group are going to be meeting up at Baltimore. You should come to Baltimore.
I want to go to Baltimore.
If you're willing to buy me a plane ticket, then yeah.
I want to.
Well, maybe we could all pitch in. Maybe if the whole
Crowdfund
shipposting
it.
group pitches in, we could bring Adam to America.
I wanted to go to Baltimore so
One day.
bad, but it's so much money, and I live out in the middle of the West. Tickets are so expensive. I feel your pain, Adam.
Yeah. My Britishness is going to come into play here and be like, Baltimore, that's southeast, perhaps?
Baltimore is just north of Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
Oh,
they were
okay,
the
right.
start
Oh,
of the
yeah, of course,
American Revolution. Get your facts straight.
God damn it, I'm sorry. I've driven through Baltimore. What am I talking about? Of course, I've briefly been in Baltimore. However, that was not when the Mountain Goats were playing, so...
Why were you in Baltimore?
I was just on holiday there. Well, not
He
in
was a
Baltimore,
redcoat,
but just
don't you know?
touring
Because I was
up
going to
the
say,
East
if you've
Coast.
got family in America, you could always visit family and then head to the ticket.
I told my...
Sadly not, unfortunately. I do
What?
have a friend in Rhode Island who I haven't spoken to in a while, but it'd be quite difficult to just be like, hey, I'm coming over in 5 months. I'm going to stay in Rhode Island event for like 2 nights, and then I'm going to leave you to see the Mountain Goats all along the east coast of your fair country. What do you
What
say?
you should do is take him along. Take him with you.
I told my mom that, and she was not very pleased. She's like, so you're just going to stay here for a few days and then go north? I'm like, that was kind of the plan. She's like, no. I'm like, okay.
No. This just shows the levels of desperation us Mountain Goats fans have for
Dedication.
going to
It's
see them.
dedication, not desperation.
Dedication, yeah, absolutely.
Desperation
Dedication.
is groupies.
We're only making a podcast about our favourite band, which is pretty niche, but yeah, we get by.
Hey, they've got
We're-
more than enough songs for us to talk about these bands
That's
for
true.
years. So.
One could say we are running away with what John said.
Which is gonna be the title of the podcast now, isn't it?
Split decision, that. Not at all planned out.
I think with that, we should end it. And this is the
Yep.
first time we've actually gotten to the end of the podcast, even
That's
though
pretty
we've tried
cool.
this about 4 times.
Yeah,
We made it.
we
made
did.
it.
This is the
Has
biggest-
everybody been recording for this whole time? Emily, do you want to check to see?
I've been checking like vigorously, and I've been recording. I'm at an hour and 11 minutes.
I'm at exactly
I'm at
an
an
hour and 11 minutes.
I'm at an hour and 9 minutes. But yeah, we've been
Perfect.
recording.
This is
So
amazing.
yeah, should we sign this one off?
I think we
Yeah.
should.
Okay.
So
Hail
join
Satan,
us
guys.
next week for the Hound Chronicles. We should
This has
really get a
been the-
sign off for future.
We should.
This has been the best ever Mountain Goats podcast. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
I'll say.